If your business stops when you take a day off, can you imagine a week off? What about a month off? What about 30 days you leave your business? If it stops, even after a day, you're not running a business. You're running yourself into the ground. I know what it feels like. You probably resonate a little bit with me too. And deep down, you already know this is happening. And the reason is because you, my friend, are the bottleneck because everything lives inside your head. I know you're smart. I know you started your company, but how do we turn your know-how, that secret sauce that you have that you can't really explain to everybody? How do we turn that into something that other people can run with, wait a second, without you? What if we just remove you altogether? Stick with me to the end and I will show you the exact shortcut that finally got me out of this bottleneck loop, this thing where I knew if I wasn't involved in it, it was going to fall down. My name is Brett, and I'm from brettcpayne.com. And if you've got these systems that live in Slack and they are on your voice note, email, and Google Docs and things like that, and it's just, if I could just do one more thing before I crash for the night, this video is your wake up call. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 practical moves. I've got 6 of them for you that I made to build businesses that don't need me to function. They really don't need me anymore. And if you want freedom, you need transferability, not just scalability. So let's dive into this. Point number 1, if it's not documented, it doesn't exist. You might think, well, I've got it in my head, but if nobody else can run it without you, then it's not a system, it's a liability. I sit with business owners, many of them that want to scale, they want to grow. That's what people know me for. So we'll go to coffee, we'll go to lunch, and they'll tell me about their business. And I will ask them the question, hey, before we talk about growing and scaling, can you show me where your operations manual is? And they go, my what? I go, your operations manual. They go, what's my operations manual? I go, you know, that thing that tells every single thing about how to actually run your business. And they go, oh yeah, I've got that. I go, where's it at? And they go, well, I've got some notes here and I have written down a few things, but I mean, honestly, Brett, so it's all up here. I have to tell them that there's no way I can have a conversation with them about scaling or growing. And I mean small one-person companies or companies that have had 50 employees in it, and the owner doesn't have a way to communicate to somebody else how the business is running. It's not documented. And so what I have to tell them is, look, we'll come back to this. I'll have another lunch with you for sure. You're probably going to pay for it, but you've got to document this thing first, because once you get that, then we can scale it, right? Documentation is the first act of leadership. It's not admin work. If you want to lead your company, if you want to be the CEO, the chief executive officer, if you want to get other people, staff members, team members to execute on your ideas, the very first thing you must do is to document. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you right now. Don't turn this video off because you're scared I'm going to tell you to write down a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to tell you that, but I will tell you that the secret to your ability to scale is going to be in documenting what you do. So you got to start small. It's just one recurring task. Write it. You got to record it, screen share it, just get it out of your head. And when you start doing that, then you will start to have something that you can scale. Point number 2, stop chasing perfection and start building process. You've got to stop looking at this thing about everything being perfect, and you've got to work more on the process about how do I get from A to Z. I used to think no one can do it like I do. Well, I'm sure you think the same thing, or you have thought that before, but it turns out they don't need to. They just need clarity on how to do it. They don't have to do it exactly like how I do it. They just need to understand the goal of what I want, and they can get there themselves, right? But I've got to lay the path out for them. I've got to establish the process. So when they come to work for me and they've got a task or a goal or something, that they understand this is what I'm needing you to do. A lot of times what I'll do is, rather than telling them like start at A, B, C, D, go through that, I'll tell them like, this is what the end product looks like. Now let me go back and tell you how I need you to get there, and then work out the details yourself. Listen, a 70% version, an 80% version of your process that gets things done by someone else is better than 100% that you're still holding on to at midnight. And you don't have to just apply this to your business. You can apply this to just real life. I'll tell you a little secret, and I might talk about this in a different video, a little bit later, but one of the things I don't like doing, I don't like going into, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but I don't like to go in these big stores to buy groceries and things like that. It drives me crazy. So I do all the online ordering, right? I do like that. That's easy, right? And then I know when it's going to be delivered and things like that, the food and all that kind of thing, or the pickup to get that if you've got that where you live. And I realized, wait a second, I don't want to do this either. So what I did was I made a video about how I did it. I gave it to one of my staff members and I said, every Friday, what I want you to do is I want you to go online and I want you to follow this process. I showed them exactly what to do. I want you to use AI to create my menus for me. And I gave it all the criteria. I gave the people all the criteria of a custom GPT. I don't want to lose you in this, but I told them how to create my menu. I said, use that to create the items that I need, go onto this app or this website, buy all this stuff, and pick a time on Sunday at 2:00 for me to pick it up. You know what I did? I took this business principle about stop chasing perfection and building a process. I apply it to everything in my life. You know what I don't have to do now? I don't have to go grocery shopping ever again. If you're serious about building a business that outlives your effort, hit subscribe. I put videos just like this to help you build systems that will scale every single week. And you'll see that I talk a lot about scaling your business, but sometimes that filters over into your life as well. And from time to time, I'm going to drop these things into you so you can see it's not just a structure of how I do it, it's a mindset. And I want to help you get to that mindset. Point number 3, your business isn't a masterpiece, it's a franchise prototype. The best businesses don't rely on genius. They rely on repeatability. You've got to build something that you can repeat. Think about McDonald's, right? You remember watching The Founder, that movie? It's a system. It's repeatable. Don't think about the Michelin Star. Two completely separate things. They both offer food. They both have the similar kind of customer base. They both use the same types of ingredients, right? But one of them is a Michelin Star restaurant where you are reaching for perfection. The other one is McDonald's, which is reaching for something that is repeatable. That's what you want with your business. You've got to make what works into playbooks, not puzzles. Don't make it so complicated. Don't make it mystical, like nobody can understand this. If you've made it like that for your staff or for your team, you got to really break that down. Like you've got to really say to yourself, wait a second, what am I doing? Is it really that magical? And I've talked with business owners. I said this very thing to them, like, we've got to document what you know and what you do. They go, it's impossible. I've been doing this for 15 years or 20 years or whatever. I go, it's not impossible. You learned it somewhere. The difficulty is you don't want to take the mental leap because it's exhausting at times if you do it the wrong way, but I'll show you the right way. It can be exhausting to get that out of your head onto a document so that somebody else can do the very thing that you are currently doing. So let me ask you something. What's one task, just one, what's one task in your business that still feels like only you can do it? Put it in the comments. I've been there. That mindset shift is where the freedom has to start. You've got to start thinking about the things that you're doing and how do I get it off to someone else who can take care of that. That thing that you think of just now, as I mentioned that in the video, that might be the thing you need to start with. Point number 4, build with the handoffs in mind. If your team needs you to explain everything twice, you do not have a system. You basically have a relay race that has no handoff zone. So every SOP or standing operating procedure or process, it really needs to answer the question, can someone start this without asking me a question? I have a very specific policy in my life and in my work. If I have to do anything more than twice, I stop it and I automate it. I figure out how to build an SOP around it. I just gave you an example of how I do that with buying groceries. You can imagine how I do it with business, right? Once you get into the habit of this kind of thing and you start thinking about how can I hand off to my staff or hand off to other people on my team, then it changes the way that you lead your business. You're no longer a builder, you're more of an architect. And I want to shift you to that mindset of I'm not here to like do all the work. I'm here to be the architect, to design it. At the very beginning, I know this is going to be difficult because you're going to be creating systems or creating SOPs or creating structures. And then it's going to take you a week or 2 weeks or maybe a month to go, wait a second, how can I hand this off? I got to think through these things. Eventually, you're going to do it so often that the time it takes from you to actually create the system, to figure out a way to replicate it, gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. I will tell you right now, I've done this so much. I am not into the first steps of creating a new system or structure for somebody, something new that has come up, before I am within minutes thinking through the filter of, I'm not going to create anything that I cannot duplicate or replicate to somebody else. It's part of the process. It's hand in hand. I want to help you get there. Point number 5, capture, don't create. Here's the thing that really clicked for me. I stopped trying to write everything down. You can't write down all the stuff that you know. I know that's where you thought I was going with this. the operations manual, the SOPs and all that, it's impossible. It takes too long. The time it takes to get it from your brain to your fingers can't go fast enough to type, okay? So I stopped writing everything down. I don't write down SOPs. Instead, what I do is I hit record. What do I mean by that? I'm doing it in two different ways. I'm either going to grab my phone, and in my iPhone, I have an app, a free app called the Voice Memos app. If you have an Android, then you've got another app. I don't know what it's called. It's free. It's built in there. It's a habit of mine. I grab my phone when I'm thinking about how to do something, and I'll think through the process, and I literally will either go into a conference room or I'll stay here in the office or at my house or whatever. I hit record on my phone and I walk around and I just talk through the steps on my phone. I just talk and talk and talk and talk. The other thing that I do is that I will use a tool called Loom. And there's lots of these kinds of tools. Loom is free, loom.com. And if it requires a visual process or explanation, I will record my screens as I am walking somebody through this process. Now, I've told you two different things that I do, and it's probably going to be a little blurry, but the point is I want you to realize it has nothing to do with my hands. I'm not physically typing anything. But if you want to steal this shortcut, I mean, really steal it without writing a word, you can build these things. Guess what? You can grab my free SOP Builder ebook. It's absolutely free. It's at brettcpayne.com/SOP. And I will walk you through every single detail, how to achieve what I just described using audio and using video step by step. I won't hold anything back. You can go there to get the ebook and you can start putting this into a practice instantly. It will save you massive amounts of time and move your business forward. I will show you the exact method about how I create these systems, and you don't get stuck in this documentation nightmare of like fixed paragraphs and formatting and all that kind of stuff. Look, the link is in the description for you. Point number 6, what only you can do should become what no one has to do. That thing that you're still clinging on to, that only I can task, you know, you've got these categories of these things, right? It's not your genius, it's your golden handcuffs. I mean, that thing that you think like nobody can do this, I'm the best at this. I honestly said this to someone earlier today. I got caught in my own thing because in one of my companies, we are having a lot of growth in it, and the leads that are coming in are just hitting over and over and over and over. And so what that means is that there has to be someone to kind of get the process all the way over to an appointment for a phone call. And that phone call is basically a sales process. That sales process, I'm pretty good at. And so when I get on these calls, it's a ton of fun for me because I'm not selling anybody necessarily on anything. I'm trying to help them solve a problem, and I really enjoy that process. I get off these calls, and sometimes people are watching me do this, and they say, "I don't know how you do that." And I go, "It's just fun. I just love people. Like I want to. If I can help them, I will, and if I can't, I'm going to tell them straight off I can't." And I had the thought, "How am I going to find somebody else to do this?" Well, there is a way to do this, and so I have to go back to my own mental points and say, "Okay, I'm not a genius at this. I just figured out something, but what I have to do is I have to take that and document it like I told you before with the SOPs, because if I don't, I'm going to have some golden handcuffs, and nobody wants that. So you got to build a system around these things. You got to delegate it, or if you can't, you got to drop it all together. Like this just can't happen like this. Otherwise the business isn't scalable. I can't leave for a day. I can't leave for a week. I can't leave for a month, right? But don't keep pretending it's freedom if you can't walk away from it. That's a very important thing to think about. If you can't walk away from it, you are not living in freedom. You're living in a job that you created for yourself. If you're still holding all the answers in your head, your team's always going to be waiting on you. I want you to download the free SOP Builder ebook that I've made for you. It's going to help you take those things that only you know, and it's going to turn them into something that anyone can run. I mean, anyone, okay? It doesn't matter what country they're in. It's no typing. There's no overthinking. It's just systems that scale. Because listen, until it's transferable, you're not building freedom. You're just building a trap.